Okay, number 3. I see those symbols. I know right angles are being involved. Got it. Perpendicular symbol, right angles are being involved. I just got to know where they are on my diagram. So I go to where AB and BC intersect right here. I have a right angle, and I also have a right angle where DC and BC intersect right there. So I have right angles there. And then I'm also told that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent to each other. Boom, boom. Everyone's good. So how do I get to 3 and 4? This is something we got to look at over the next 2 days and say, hey, can you tell what type of proof this is going to be? I'm going to do it subtraction first, and then you can also use complementary angles the second way. So I'll do both for you. So subtraction way. Right? If I'm going to do the subtractions, everyone agrees it's going to be, I'm going to take that right angle, ABE, and subtract angle 1 from it. Everyone in agreement? Then I'm going to get to angle 3. And then I'm going to say that's the same thing if I took angle DCE and subtracted angle 2 from it. I'm pretty confident in you guys that you're good with this whole, hey, I know it's subtraction. But what I'm not confident in yet is, do you know what's got to go in your proof before you hit subtraction? Okay? I just wrote out the subtraction up here for you. Ready? What do we know about angles 1 and 2? They're congruent. Perfect. Did you show yet that those 2 angles are congruent? No. That's got to go in your proof before you can use subtraction. Everybody see that? Before you write down what you're subtracting, these 2 pairs need to be equal. And I don't have the right angles equal yet. So those are the next 2 steps in your proof. Step 2, don't tell me they're equal yet. Tell me they're what type of angles? Right angles. Okay? Before you tell me 2 right angles are equal to each other, you need to tell me that they actually are right angles. Are right angles. I would take definition of perpendicular. You guys know how I roll. I like this one. Perpendicular lines form right angles. Then you could say they're equal. And this is a theorem that will be provided to you guys on the sheet, last page on your test, tomorrow and Thursday. All right angles are congruent. Okay? All good? Then you can show me the subtraction and the substitution. Okay? Subtraction, substitution. Everyone's good on the subtraction method. God, I can't stress that enough, guys. If you find yourself over the next 2 days writing the word subtraction or addition in your reasons column, hey, wait, stop. Do I have both pairs equal on before that? Okay, do I have both pairs equal before that? Because the answer is probably going to be no. Okay, you get lucky if it's yes, if they're all in the givens. So there's one way. The other way to do it is using complementary. Right angle. Let me mark the congruent angles again, 1 and 2. What do you know about 3 and 1? Angle 3 and 1, look at them. What do we know about them? Angle 3 and 1. Tell me something about angles 3 and 1 in my diagram. Oh, now we're going to liven the show up now. Woo, 23. Oh, that's a year, I believe. Yep. Luke? They're complementary. How about 2 and 4? Angle 1 and 3 are complementary. Angle 2 and 4 are complementary. How'd you know that, Luke? I'm not looking for, just tell me in your own Luke words. How'd you know they were complementary?
ABE is a right angle, and 3 and 1 are linear pairs.
Oh, no, they're not linear pairs. Linear pairs would look like this. That's linear pairs. They're supplementary. Basically, what do you know about this word right here, complementary?
The angles add to 90.
There you go. Okay? 1 and 3 add to 90, 2 and 4. You could say complementary angles add to 90. Complementary angles form right angles. Okay? Tell me something you know what complementary means. Okay, so here we go. I got another question. Let's go 12. Who are we going to? Lucas, here we go. I got Lucas on here or no? Yep, we do. Here we go, Lucas. Angle 3. What do you know? What did we just write about angle 3?
That's complementary with angle 1.
What did we just write about angle 4?
That's complementary with angle 2.
Okay, so 3 and 4 are both complementary to 1 and 2. What do you know about 1 and 2 from the Gibbons, Lucas?
They're congruent.
Okay, so 3 and 4 were complements of congruent angles. Everyone see I could use that too. Complements. No I's tomorrow in complements. Complements of congruent angles are congruent. That's the other way we could have done it. Okay? And yes, you needed to tell me what angles are complementary before you write down any complementary theorem. Okay, any others there? 2 through 6 we want to go over.
I had a specific question on 6.
Okay.
I only one substitution. Would you get points off for that if you didn't show this?
Well, where's what do you mean by one substitution here?
I wrote down after down the Gibbons. I have EF is congruent to FC.
Okay, let me get caught up here. So BF congruent to FC. That's definition of a midpoint. And I'll get back to your question here in a second. I just got to teach one thing here. How did I know this was not going to be a halves of equal quantities proof, even though midpoint showed up? Maeve, how many segments am I cutting in half? 1. If you guys want to use halves of equal quantities, you got to cut 2 in half. I'm only cutting 1, so that's why I just put down BF is congruent to FC. Okay, here we go. Here's why you need a second substitution. Everyone take a look. Even if you got this right, you got the perfect work down, focus in. 1 congruent statement. 2 congruent statements. 3 congruent statements. You can only use substitution on 2 congruent statements at a time. Okay? This is not, step 3 cannot be dB equals EC substitution. There's no way you're only using 2 of these to get to dB and EC. Substitution can only be used 2 at a time, not on all 3. So you have to make a decision right now. Let me get rid of this. You need to pick 2 of them right now. 2 out of those 3 that I had just circled and use substitution. I'll make a decision. Let's use these 2 right here. dB equals BF. BF equals FC. Somebody using substitution come out with the correct conclusion. Say that a bunch of times. All right, correct conclusion here. Using these 2. Use substitution for me. Let's get ready here. 16, here we go. Kyler, what do you got?
dB is congruent to FC.
dB congruent to FC. Good job. That's 1 substitution. 1. Now, remember the one we did not use? Out of those 3, this one right here we did not use. Now use it with what you just wrote in step 3. CE equals CF, dB equals FC. Now, can we all not freak out? We all know that CF and FC are the same segment. We're good there? Okay, that's the same segment. CF and FC are the same. So using these 2 now, somebody come up with another conclusion using substitution a second time. Using those 2 now. Oh, hi Kyla, how are you?
dB is congruent to EC.
dB congruent to EC, which happens to be my proof statement. That's why we needed 2 substitutions. Everyone if you write down substitution, you better be performing it on 2 pairs. Not 3, 2. Okay? So that should signal you too, hey, I have 3 sets of congruent segments up here. 3! So I should be using substitution twice. Okay? Everyone good there? That's the level I need you to get at in the next 24 to 48 hours. All right? That's the level I need you at. Other questions?
Okay.
Okay.
You encourage us to mark up our diagram. Will I get
Oh, go ahead. So keep going. Sorry to cut you off.
Will we get points off of, like, let's say you don't mark up necessarily everything that you talk about?
I don't grade your diagram, Sophia. I grade the statements and reasons. Okay? But I will warn you, especially on this first test, because you guys are newbies at proofs. A lot of times what I see is your diagram's marked great, but your markings don't get into your proof. Like, for instance, this one here, you just had me go over. I'll see a lot of kids mark BF and FC congruent with their hash marks, but I won't see it in the proof. So you guys keep in mind tomorrow and Thursday, just because it's marked on your diagram doesn't mean you're good. Make sure it gets into the proof. Kyle?
How would you mark that BF is congruent to DD and congruent to FC without marking them all the same?
Yeah, that would be kind of tough. Like you're gonna DB congruent to B. Okay, so now you got 1 on there. So now I guess you got to go 2 and 2. This is all the stuff that's going through your head, but you got to remember I got to get it down on the paper too. Okay, so don't worry as much about marking the diagram crazy. Okay, whatever you're comfortable with marking, go ahead. Just make sure it gets in the proof though. Okay, great questions here, great sessions here. Anything else you want to go over? Okay, because I know some of you may not have had the opportunity to check the answers on Classroom because for whatever reason due to the storm, let me go over everything now, please. Actually, I'll just show the answers on my Classroom. That'll go quicker. There you go. Here you go. Here's number 2. You should have had definition of a bisector, subtraction, substitution. Again, if you guys went right to subtraction, number 2, you don't have all your equal quantities down. Okay? I only gave you 1 and 4. The other pair of equal quantities to subtract was angle AOB congruent to BOC by definition of a bisector. All right? Subtraction, addition. Do I have 2 pairs? Do I have 2 pairs? Okay, everybody good on number 2? Any questions on 2? Hopefully you guys are just getting used to these, huh? 3 I went over, right? We went over, there's 2 different ways to do it. Number 4, supplementary. All right, hey, look, in the givens, you see the word supplementary. Ding, 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 ding. I'm going to go to that last sheet of my test, and I'm going to look at both supplementary theorems. And I got to figure out, are 1 and 2, the angles I'm trying to prove, 1 and 2, are they supplementary to the same angle or to congruent angles? And in this case, they're supplementary to angle 3, the same angle. If you're going to use that theorem, you better tell me what angles are supplementary. I already knew 1 and 3 were supplementary, but I also had to write 2 and 3 were as well. Okay? Please remember that. If you guys use any of those 4 theorems, the complementary ones or the supplementary ones, in your proof before that, did you tell me what angles are complementary or supplementary? If you're going to use those 4. Okay, so there's 4. And then 5 was, what was 5? Oh, those are complementary. There we go. A and C, the 2 angles I needed to prove, A and C, they're both complementary to congruent angles now. Congruent angles. Hey, honors kids, on this one, I used this complementary theorem, but why did I not have to write down what angles were complementary? It was given. Nice. Sometimes that's nice. Will I do that tomorrow or Thursday? We'll see. We'll see. If not, you got to tell me why they're complementary. All right? Anything else here, guys, we want to cover?
So we can assume that angle 1 and 2 are vertical angles, even though it doesn't technically say AD and BC intersect?
Yeah, you can. Yes, that's fine. You got a point. You got me there. You got me there. Because I tell you guys not to assume it all, but yes, you can. And hopefully on the test tomorrow, I did my best to tell you guys that they intersect there. Question, Dave?
Are there just proofs on the test, or are there multiple?
There's more. We're going to go over the format here in a second when I'm done with homework. Yep, there's more than proofs. Anything else you want to ask from 35 to 37? Okay, you guys, I'm going to come around and check. You guys at home, clean it up, submit it. Again, if there's an issue submitting, I need to know before the deadline, guys, all right? Not after the deadline, before the deadline if there's an issue submitting it. Okay, give me a second here, and I'll be right back with you guys at home to check the guys in class here. All right, you guys, tomorrow, because you guys aren't taking it, as you know, if you're not taking it, you're home that day, you got an Ed Puzzle video to watch for the next unit. So if you guys want a packet, I'll be handing those out to you as I come around and check your homework, okay? We're gonna start the new unit tomorrow, okay, unit 3. So if you need a packet to take the notes, you can let me know. Thank you, thank you, need a packet, well, it's up to you. Because if you guys do it electronically, it's already up on Classroom under unit 3, okay, so. Whatever you're more comfortable with. Absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome. Hi, Maeve.
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. You do electronically.
Probably.
That's fine. Whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, we're good. Thank you. You can after I can see your homework, sure, no big deal. Yeah. Oh, my apologies here. I forgot to show the algebra problem, right? There you go. Packet, you're gonna do electronic.
Packet, please. Thank you.
Oh, what's that? Packet or electronic? Okay, packet, electronic, where are you going? Okay. Again, you guys are gonna take your notes out of this tomorrow for the video. Packet or? Okay. You got it. You're welcome.
Can I have a packet, please?
Sure. You can.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tough for you. You prefer a packet or online? You got it. And again, that's for the video tomorrow, so you guys don't have to worry about any of that. All right. Okay, kids, we ready to talk about tomorrow's test? What's the makeup? How many questions? How many points? How many proofs? What else will be on there? Let's talk. Bless you. Bless you. Okay, here we go. You guys want to take a picture? You can. You guys want to take a screenshot at home? Feel free. 13 questions, 41 points. There will be 4 proofs tomorrow, okay? 4 statements and reasons proofs. I will not obviously tell you what they are, but there'll be 4 of them on there, 5 points each. What I can tell you confidently is those 4 proofs are not any harder than the ones in your packet, okay? Without no chance are these proofs tomorrow any tougher than the ones I've had you do in your packet, okay? What else is gonna be on there other than proofs? Don't just focus on proofs, algebra with angles. I think we do some of that almost every night, right? Where you guys set up an equation, solve for x, plug it back in if you need to, and then tell me why. Okay, vertical angles are equal. Linear pairs are supplementary. You guys have been justifying all the time. And then we're gonna play a little game at the beginning of your test. What postulate am I using? And I'll show you, I know you guys are copying stuff down, so I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. And that's the test. Okay, that's basically the test for you guys. I know the proofs are the big thing, the one you're most worried about, which, I understand, but also don't forget about your algebra. Do you know what vertical angles look like? Do you know what supplementary angles look like? Everyone good here?
What kind of things will be on the multiple choice questions?
Just like, what postulate am I using?
Oh, okay.
Which I'll show you in a second. Okay, here's what I'm talking about on number 2 here, where it says, what postulate am I using? Please remember, if you ever want a little more extra practice, remember on Classroom, I put under Unit 2, proofs checkup. Just a couple extra ones. These shouldn't be too tough for you. But here's what I'm talking about. Take a look. I have if A equals B and B equals C, why does A equal C? Do you know what postulate I'm using or theorem I'm using there? And there will be 4 choices, addition, substitution, subtraction, halves of equal quantities are equal. I'll throw that in there. Anybody know what we're using there? Substitution. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. What postulate am I using? All right. LO equals LO. That's my reflexive. MK equals, and then you guys can go from there. Okay, but that's what I'm talking about. Okay, as far as what postulate am I using, that'll be multiple choice. Okay, anything else on the setup that you want to go over before I show you where all the review is? Any others on the setup you want to go over? Unmute your mic if you need to. Okay, where can you get practice? Back of your packet, as usual. Hopefully, I know we're in the second unit here, but hopefully you guys are getting used to this. In the back of your packet, I'm not too sure of the exact page number, but 38, thank you. Starting on page 38, you guys have some proofs, practice proofs. And the answers to these are in the back of the very back of your packet. Okay, you don't have, guys, please, you do not have to go on Classroom to find the answers. We just put them in the packet to make it convenient for you. Okay, so as you can start to see, here's our statement and reasons answers here. All right, so you can check yourself. So there's a few proofs, and then on the next page, there's algebra problems. All right. Unfortunately, please listen carefully here. Usually I have a slew of problems. If anybody needed ever extra problems, I can always send them to you or get them to you. This is it here. I have 4 extra proofs that I could give you, but those are the ones I put on the test. All right, so this is it right here. I have given you every single type of proof I can give you that might be on there tomorrow. Okay, so my best piece of advice, if you do the review, open up a new packet on Classroom, a fresh, clean packet, go to a random proof and say, hey, can I do it? Okay? Anything I can answer for you guys, because the rest of the time here, you guys still have 14 minutes. The rest of the time here is going to be for you guys to work. So here's your opportunity to ask questions. If not, bring them to the after-school review today or tomorrow, depending on when you're coming. Anything I can answer here, guys? Okay, if something comes up, you guys are staying on, stay on your camera, please, to the end of the period. If something comes up, just unmute your mics, because I'm going to be walking around the classroom here helping your classmates out. Okay? So whatever you need help on, is it the proofs? Is it the algebra problems? You guys know where all the answers are now in the back of your packet. Go right ahead and get going. For now, Hannah, that's just reviewing, but there is an assignment due on Monday. On Friday. That's a follow-up from the Ed Puzzle video you're going to watch tomorrow. Okay, so check the assignment sheet. The assignment sheet's pretty clear on what's due. All right, there is an assignment due on Friday. That's a follow-up from the Ed Puzzle video. Yep.
How do we know when we should or should not put the line segment symbol above it? Because on number 4 from the review, it says if SA equals BQ, but there's no line segment symbol.
I'll be totally honest with you, Sophia, I'm not gonna be picky about that. It's kind of like whether to use equal or congruent. I'm not gonna be picky about that. Okay, so that's one less thing you should worry about. Okay? Good question.